Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today is day 8 of hacking Samui Wallet for Solana Cypherpunk Hackathon. And let me quickly make sure that this is all right. I think you may hear the sound at the background, or I might just hear it in my mic. I'm not really sure. Um, but yeah, I'm going to pop open the chat. I'm going to switch to my screen, and we're going to dive right in. Now, today's special day because we have received our first external contribution. And this is the contribution. We now have a homepage. The homepage is available, accessible on samui.build, and it's built by no one less than my wife, Derlis Paula. And the best thing of this is this was her own initiative. She has been developing software for quite a while. She's currently looking for a job. So if you hire somebody, if you need a developer, reach out to her. But she decided to help us out, and this is great because both Toby and I we really didn't have a lot of time to work on this website. So it's amazing that it's here. That it's here. As you can see, it's fairly bare bones, which was exactly the idea. But it's an Astro website. It's using Tailwind. Search function is already working. So if you search for GitHub, for instance, you get led to the homepage. There's literally only one page. But the beauty is this is a documentation website. So we have the website and the documentation platform all in one. And I'm just super excited to see this. And yeah, this as well. Thank you so much, Derlis, for doing your contribution. This is amazing. We had a whole bunch more updates today. I'm not going to go through all of them. If you're interested, go to this repo and just watch it, all activity. If you're not in the project, I'm fairly sure you'll disable it very soon because there is a whole bunch going on. So, sorry. If we quickly go through the commits, this list right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, have been added in the last 2.5 hours. So this is today. Where I'm at, it's already Friday. This is today. This was yesterday. It doesn't fit on one page. And then this is the day before. So we're on fire, can I say? And yeah. So with that out of the way, I'm going to show the app. And the first thing I'm going to do right here is actually import a key pair. Now these things are kind of like public secrets, if you will. I will be using these key pairs on the page, on the stream. And now one of the issues I have that you see here, if I import a seed phrase, I go here, import seed phrase. Now I click one, and then to add the second one, I need to go back either here or click there. So that's one click, two click, three click, copy my seed phrase, paste it in, four click. Wouldn't it be cool if in the import screen right here, I'd have a little checkbox that says import another one? And I think that's pretty sweet. And this goes in line with what I said earlier today in my daily update on the way to the co-working. It's very good if you have stuff that you need yourself. It might sound selfish, but as a developer, you probably want to fix your own issues, right? So that's what I'm going to start with. Now, this is in the import screen. So actually right here, this is where I want to have this is where I want to have the button. So I can already see we need a little bit of space. And I guess, so there's a few ways to go about this. But what happens with this form is that this form gets submitted. So this form doesn't do any routing. This form just submits, and then it gets picked up by the feature. And then inside this feature here, we navigate. So we basically want to know right here, do we want to navigate? Yes or no? And that's basically it. So The thing that I'm kind of wondering is, so this is the account create inputs. Now this is strongly typed, strictly typed, however you want to call it. So there's basically two ways I can do this. Either way, I can add a second property and is redirect and default it to true. And then redirect wants to be a Boolean here. And then when I do the submit, right here, I will set it to true. Right, for now, we'll set it to true. Let's actually set it to false. Go back to where we call this thing, accept this second input, redirect, and then basically, if redirect, do this. Otherwise, leave yourself hanging. I'm fairly sure that this will already work. Now, I'm also fairly sure that I can just import same key pair a bunch of times. So this is 5, 6, 7. I go here, 5, 6, 7, and they should all be Chaz. So this is Chaz. I do a classic Alice Bob with a bunch of Chaz. So this kind of already works. I think this is the quickest way to market for this feature. So basically just passing in a second property. The other option that I would have is augment this one and basically make this input a part of the form. But I kind of feel I don't need it. I'm kind of leaning towards using a classic use state and call it redirect and set redirect. And we'll just have these true by default. Then I'm going to quickly go to ui.chatcn.com and check which components I want to use. So I think this is a switch. Yes. Now, I'm not going to worry about the language here. So I'm not going to worry about what it actually should say, because that's kind of bike shedding-ish. And, oh, I shouldn't import from there. Redirect. And I'm going to say redirect to accounts. And then here the value wants to be, oh, so it's the switch actually. The value here wants to be redirect, and then set value on change, on checked change, which takes a Boolean. And we're going to say set redirect equals to checked, which I reckon can be simplified to just passing in set redirect. And I'm just wondering, this shouldn't be valued, this should also be checked. There we are. So now if we go back to the screen, if I do this, I'm gonna add this one in. It does not redirect, okay, and that's because we're not passing this property right here. So we're gonna say redirect, and I'm gonna pass it in one more time. Imported redirects, amazing. Create, import, and then without redirect. So I'm going to call this thing redirect after import. I'm going to add a little bit more space. And I think this is already it. Let's see if I can make this one a bit bigger. I cannot. Maybe if I do class name size 6. No, that doesn't work. I'm going to briefly check if there's something about styling here, but I reckon there's not. And nope, there is not. Awesome. So we're 10 minutes in and we already have our first feature. This is amazing. So import redirects. Add option to prevent redirects after account import. There we are. Now, this is a very small little paper cut, as I like to call these things. There's nothing big here, but this is like kind of a quality of life improvement because I find myself importing key pairs over and over again every day, which is great. I mean, I love that I'm working on this stuff every day. Now, I'm also seeing that there's something here that didn't really show up. So let's dive into that at some other point. And the next thing I'm going to do is actually send Sol. And I realized I didn't even say hi to my biggest fan of the show, Sandeep. Sir, it's good to see you. I did already see your corner of the eye, but I realized I didn't greet you properly. Season 1, Episode 8. Yes, I was right. I introduced with this. I kept track. It's amazing. We have 7 days left, if I'm right. So we should end up at stream 15 next week around this time, because next week, in about 8 hours from now, so exactly 7 days and 8 hours. So let's do the quick math. In 176 hours, the submission closes. So we'll need to be up to date. And there's a bunch of stuff to do, mainly on the presentation and pitch side. So Toby and I agreed that he will do the pitch, he'll do the video. So we need to send in a presentation, a video of maximum 3 minutes, where we go over the project and kind of showcase the product and tell what we're all about. Now, I asked him to do it because he's a native speaker and I'm not. And I do think that kind of increases the quality quite a bit. And the presentation we can clearly build up front. And the product should be in working state. Now, software is never finished. At least most of the software that I worked on never finishes. It's always going to be a work in progress, but we just want to have the basics there. Now, with a bunch of these accounts, I'm here in Alice. Alice is selected. I'm going to go to portfolio, and here we are. We have actually a working portfolio screen. So if you haven't seen this already yet, I'm actually incredibly proud that we managed to get this one. There's a small activity. Now I need to do something with the UI. So this is not just going to be a table. This is going to be a proper activity screen where we basically group things by time. So you can quickly see which date did you interact with something. And this is very much like how Solana Explorer shows this, which is not what we want in the wallet UI. But hey, it's working. And this is the important part. The other thing that we worked on yesterday that I actually merged through today is the option to add read-only accounts. So I can now actually add one of my accounts here, select it, go back to portfolio, and on testnet, we have nothing. Oh, we do have something on testnet. Interesting. On devnet, we have something way more, actually. Now, all of these things don't have token metadata, right? So this is all devnet, and this may be a bit prettier. In fact, if we go to portfolio balances, you can clearly see that I vibe coded this. How can you see it? Well, most of it doesn't use Tailwind. So I basically asked Gemini, which sits right in this corner here. I asked Gemini, like, hey, this is the shape of data that I have. So I gave it this shape of data, build UI for it. And that's kind of the extent of how I like to use vibe coding, if you will, for this project. I'm not even going to single shot features. I ask like very specific things. I want you to do this screen. And the output is this. It's pretty clean, as you can see. But here we can do a bit better, I reckon. So we can say the label of this thing. And what do I want to label it with? Well, name, but name may be NA, not available. That's what I asked him to do. Like, hey, this thing is going to be not available. So I guess the next best thing, we can just say item metadata.name or item.mint. And why do I think that's important? Well, the item mint is going to be unique for all of these things. And now we at least have a little bit of color. right? So let's actually border this up for the second, the classic border red um, right here. Now, what I see it here, it does actually a margin right. I would never do it this way. So let's border this one up as well. So border yellow 500. And here we see the whole line. Yellow, please. If only I could type. And now you kind of see where we're going with this. So we can just tell this one is a flex. Items center. So we're going to just move this into proper tailwind styles. Now, I also think next to item center, we just want to say justify between. And then we want to have two blocks. So one block is going to be the icon and the name. And the other block is already on its own on the end. So what does this thing look like? Well, this is also a flex container with item center, very much the same. And I think here we want to have a gap of, let's say, 6. And with that, we can get rid of the margin right here, because that's a very imperative thing. And let's on UI avatar see what we actually have here. So we have the avatar image, and the avatar fallback. Now here we have size 8. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to take size 8, and I'm going to add this one to the avatar, to the icon, to the image here. So I'm going to say class name, size 8, and this should make all of these things same size. Let's also border this one up. We have a red border right here. Interesting. They do look a little bit different. So what can I do to make these things look the same? Well, one thing that I can do is actually pop this one in a bit. It's clearly, as every site, it's diffs all the way down, right? And I'm going to also add a border here. I keep on adding borders, keep on adding diffs, and that's just how I like to do these things. And I think here it's going to be justify center. And I might as well just get rid of these ones. Okay, that was the trick. So I needed to get rid of the hard-coded style that I had here. That was actually, in fact, the thing that was bothering us. So let's see, background color, we don't care. Height, minimum, like we don't care of any of this. So now we have a proper icon. I do think it's a bit on the smaller side. So let's see if I do like 12, that's beautiful. And see if size 12 gets the same effect right here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Gap 6 here is on the white side. So we do this. And actually, so now I'm looking at a bunch of tokens that are not really have metadata. If I say wallet and go to mainnet, we should actually see some images here. So that's great. I'm also going to give this one a size 12. Actually a size 14. And I'm also going to say item center, just so they align a little bit. So everything has a bit more space. You gotta love all of these borders. I cannot be the only one that develops this way. There must be more people that do it this way. It just really helps me visualize what I'm doing here. So great. I think symbol maybe bold, font bold, and it may also be text muted foreground, just so we add a bit of hierarchy there. I like this a lot. So we're going to get rid of our borders. So first of all, get rid of the border red. Blink, otherwise you don't see it. Don't blink, otherwise you won't see it. And here we're going to get rid of this one. Now, is it perfect? No. Is it better? I like to think so, yes. And we now have these icons that are basically dynamically generated. At least this gives some color and some recognition to these tokens. So if we go to DevNet, at least there's some stuff there. Now, not available is not a great name if the name of the token is not available. So what I can do here instead of not available, what I actually just want to do, let me just ellipsify the item mint instead. Now this already gives a bit of a better idea of what is actually happening. So this is the item, the icon mint. And then the second thing here, which is the token, we don't really know what the token is. So I can do actually something very similar. I can use the same ellipsify utility and actually exactly the same mint, but instead give it a length of 1 on each side. So this should be 2 digits. Give it a delimiter of nothing and uppercase it. And actually what I may do is delimiter of 2. Now, this is again, this is not perfect, but this at least gives some form of uniqueness to all of these, and this should make it easier to kind of recognize these things while you're working on this. In the future, you will be able to click one of these, and that should present you the details of this token. So what I imagine, if you go to one of these tokens, maybe you're going to see the transaction history of that token. Maybe you're going to be presented with the send screen. We need to figure out how other wallets do this. Now with this symbol here, I actually have a better thing to put into the avatar. So I reckon I'm just going to put the symbol in the avatar. Didn't that change anything? It did. I'm not mad about it. Back to the previous commit and amend it here to this previous commit, because this is still very much in the realm of token metadata. And if you look at previous episodes, you see that I kind of like to keep my commits clean. We have a very pretty, I must say, very pretty linear history. Luckily, my co-founder Toby is very aligned in how he sees these things. And yeah, I think we have a very similar workflow when it comes to Git, which is clearly great because that means we kind of get it from each other. And yeah, we don't have to like discuss all of these details, which often in teams, or not often, but in teams, this may be source of confusion or source of frustration, even depending on how strong the opinions are. And so yeah, made this commit back in the previous branch. Now I'm going to go back to the one where we have this the prevent switch. I'm going to rebase this over the Beam token metadata branch just so we're here. And now it's conflicting. Well, brother, it's literally one file that changed. Well, I'm not impressed. I can fix this. So let's see. We want to keep this stuff and we want to get rid of that stuff. It's that easy. So no more conflicts, and then just rebase continue. There we are. Now, as we can see, the token metadata, it's actually up there. It's already PR'd. So let me push this up as well. And then click the import redirect here. And we may as well just do this together right here. I'll zoom in GitHub a little bit. Put this on the metadata on top of the token metadata branch. That should leave us with one clean commit. And I'm actually not even going to draft it. I'm just going to do it right away. And this way, our AI helper Ellipsis kicks in. And we've been using Ellipsis for, I'd say, a week now, roughly, top of my head. And this thing is pretty awesome. So it does these summaries. It automatically adds a summary of what actually happens in the commit and not what I think happens. This saves me a bunch of time, right? So I don't have to go in there and think what I've been doing. Then what it in addition does, it starts reviewing the pull request. Now, you can ask a human being to do this, but an AI can do a very good job at these kind of things. As with all AI responses, it's not perfect, but it's great. It already caught a bunch of things that I didn't see. For instance, when I copy paste stuff, it finds that I didn't update the name properly, and a lot of these things. I even learned stuff from it. It asks me to memorize certain things. It tells me to not use sort on an array, but then spread the array into a new one. Otherwise, I'm mutating the array. Stuff that I kind of know, but it's not on top of my head. This thing's really great. Ellipsis dev. I'd say more than 80% of whatever it comments is pretty valuable. You can control it by giving a thumbs up or thumbs down. This is actually a good. This is actually a good comment. I don't think I'm going to fix it for now, but it is a good comment. And ooh, this is also nice. Why you want to work with a co-founder that knows a bunch of stuff. Crypto format. I didn't star it. This means I most likely never saw the library, and it's been around. This thing has been around for 7 years. MIT licensed, love it, just like Samui Wallet and the big majority of my projects. It's used by this. Oh, this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, very good. Yes. I'm actually going to add a commit. I'm going to add a create a token, create an issue, reference in new issue, use crypto format to format token balances, I guess. Just gonna do this right here, creating the issue, just so we don't forget. And actually, let's whack some labels on this. So this is a feature, and it's good first issue, help wanted. This is perfectly something that anybody can like kind of pick up. And yeah, beautiful. So there's some other stuff. Oh no, there's not some other stuff. It's actually only this one. Now, as I said before, I'm not gonna make perfect software during these live streams. That's not what it's for. So we're in almost half an hour. We got one commit in. We did some cleanup in the previous branch, but what I actually wanted to do today is send Sol. So you may have seen that there's two buttons here, the receive option and the send option. Now, the receive option was actually fairly simple. A receive option in a crypto wallet is like a passive action, right? So you get the, at least from the app point of view, you copy a public key or you want somebody to scan this QR code. Now, talking about scanning, let me actually grab my phone, and not just a phone. Let me grab my Seeker, which I love, and let's actually scan this thing. So now I'm not on DevNet, so I won't be sending this for realsies, but at least I can scan and see if the QR code works. So I do send and do the QR code and then see what it does. Perfect, beautiful. Not sure if you see it, but it did pick up the exact wallet address that you see in the top of the screen. Beautiful. Now, no rocket science, also zero merit to me because I just downloaded a QR code package and installed that. But what I wanted to say that receiving the QR, receiving the asset is kind of the easy part. The hard part, which is actually hard, is sending assets. Now, what makes it hard? Sending Sol is a fairly easy thing to do. And I got some reference code lying around, and I reckon we should be able to add that within half an hour, which would be a great, great result of this show. However, when it comes to tokens, things get more complicated. Normal tokens, so on Solana, there's two token standards, token or token KEG, which is the original token standard, and token 2022. Also marketed as token extensions, and the the account, the program address is token Z. So we have token CAG, token Z, token 2022. We need to support both. Now, by itself, it starts simple, where you just say, okay, this is a different program, send a transaction. And if you have like a very plain token, this will most likely work. The issue is when you add token extensions, because now you have to construct the transaction in such a way that it takes all of these token extensions into account. For this phase of the wallet, I decided I'm going to be adding support for sending SOL. I'm going to give a stab at supporting plain token CAG original OG standard tokens. And I'm going to create an issue for token 2022. And it's highly unlikely that I'll be able to do this just by finding time to work that out during the hackathon. This for me is typically stuff that I would do like after the hackathon, find some reference implementations, probably figure out how this works in a bunch of tests. So I'll probably write some tests. What I think right now is write some tests, have a local validator with a bunch of tokens, a bunch of different sets of extensions. Maybe we can ask the community, like, hey, what's a common set of extensions? What are big tokens? Figure out how these things work. So yeah, there's just a lot of question marks there right now, and it doesn't add any real benefit to this thing. Sending SOL, however, does. Now, I'm not going to build it right here. I have this placeholder for send form. So that's kind of a thing. But I actually formalized the dev feature. So we now have a dev package here. And inside the dev, I can import from portfolio. So what that allows me to do is actually go to the dev section, build out the feature, and then I'll just reference it right here. So let's start with building the actual form. I'm going to search for where this stuff is, placeholder for send form. So this is going to be portfolio UI, wallet, send. Yeah, I actually want to do this differently, wallet form send, because we might have multiple forms. Now this thing doesn't exist, sure. It will right now. And I'll just whack the name in here. Come on, brother. Whack the name in here. And so that should update this thing. Great. Pop it out into its own file and look it up here, move it. It's already in the UI directory. Now, one thing that I actually already figured is that I do want to have all of the tokens that you own inside of here. Because if we look at other wallets, if you hit send, it'll default to SOL, but you will be able to figure out, oh, I actually want to send USDC. So then you pick USDC, and then you do amount and destination. So it's origin token, amount, destination. So we want this token list in there. If we go back here, the profile wallet buttons, we actually have these balances here. So this is beautiful. So I'm going to add these wallet buttons. I'm just going to pass this through. And I've been using React providers a whole lot over the last few years. It's really become a standard tool that I've used. And since working with Toby, he asked me a few times already, why do you add a provider there, a React provider, right? React context, right? And I was like, well, I don't know, it's just a habit. He's like, oh, I don't think you need it. Get rid of the provider, saves a bunch of lines of code. It makes it all cleaner, it makes it easier. So yeah, really didn't need a provider there. So for me, internally, it's becoming kind of a meme. But now that I have like balances of the wallets, and I've been passing around this cluster wallet, which is basically which cluster you're connected to, which wallet you have. I've been doing a bunch of prop drilling. I think here we kind of merit having a provider with the existing cluster, the existing wallet, all of the balances, basically all the information we gather to render this view, just so that we can easily pick this up in each of these components and pass it in wherever we need it. But the beauty of working with somebody who's like knowledgeable and has an opinion and asks questions is that you actually get to learn a bunch of stuff and you learn about your own habits, and that's just really, really valuable for me. So balances, and the balances is of type uh, token balances, right? Token balance array. Now I'm going to pick this one up. I want to do it into balances. Add balances here. And actually also going to be adding wallet here, wallet. And I'll show you why in a bit. Now we get props, which is balances and wallets. This connected wallet. I'm just going to destructure these fellas right here. So we have balances and wallet. And then ultimately, I'm going to do the same here. And this is the whole issue with the prop drilling, right? I'm just taking same props and moving them around. Now there's a reason why I want to have this thing here. And I'm not going to activate this right now because this token, I do have a bunch of assets. But if you think about it, and if you were here yesterday, we have this account and the little I here indicates that this is a read-only account. So sending away from this read-only account doesn't make any logical sense. And I think this button should be disabled when the wallet type is read-only. So basically disable wallet.type equals so watched wallet, just like so. And I might actually leave this here because this is what I want. And this wallet form send, I already explained to you all. We can do this, we can use this in the development section. So let's move to the development section right here. And another thing I added today, one of the like 50 commits that we did, enable developer mode. Ooh, now you get this little thing. I added some tabs here and I added this scratch pad because I often found myself in a place where I just want to hack on some UI stuff without having to figure out, okay, where does this go? It doesn't really fit anywhere. This is just your scratch pad, right? So inside the scratch pad, I can just add this form. And now it gets mad at me because it's like, yo, bro, I don't have these things. So let me actually do this a little bit different. I'm going to say dev, what are we doing? Wallet send. I'm going to do it like so. I'm going to return this thing here. And I'm going to receive the same thing, balances and wallet. I might think why, and I'll show you why. So inside here, we're going to actually trace back how do we got this stuff. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So balances, we may actually just pick this up and add it right here into the thing. And now it wants props, and props is cluster in a wallet. So cluster in a wallet, cluster, and the wallet. And this is cluster in a wallet. Beauty. So I have this dev wallet sent, and now you're like, okay, still problem, still the same problem. Well, we have a guard here. So portfolio guard, portfolio cluster guard. And the last time I talked about this, I was like, yeah, we can actually duplicate this. So this might be a great moment to say, actually, I want a guard that is called portfolio cluster wallet guard. And what this thing takes is a render function that has props that takes both of these. And then inside here, I'm just going to say return render this thing. And that means I can remove braces right here, and I can, are there more braces? There's no more braces. Beautiful. And now I have a guard that does both. And I'm going to use this inside our render function here. So I'm going to say import the thing. It needs to be exported, right? It is exported. What's happening, brother? It's imported here, and it says type's not assignable to type. So I'm going to return this. It's actually very similar to, no, it's not similar to. I'm hallucinating. I need an object that takes render from this type. But now I should be able to go here and take this, say render props, and inside here do def wallet send and destruction props. And now TypeScript's happy, everything's happy. Well, everything's not happy, but let's see why. Failed to import portfolio data and get token metadata. Interesting. Use get token balances. So portfolio, it should just be here. Is it because the TS extension? Interesting. So dev here, it does depend on portfolio. So workspace portfolio should be here. Why is it so naggy about this? It should just be happy. Why can't we all just get along? Feet. And it's honestly kind of depressing that Vite restarts typically don't help. It's very good at updating its state. So let's actually see if we can understand what is happening here. I'm going to go move this one to its own file. I don't understand this. We have data access here. We have use get token metadata. And now this one says cannot find module or one of its corresponding declarations. And it's not the TS-lint error. Why wouldn't this just work? Failed to dynamically import. Packages scratchpad. Yeah, that's the file where we are. Well, not really, but interesting. Let me actually pick up these two and let's start one way back. So we're going to say, okay, actually just give me these two right here. And then instead of render, right here, I'm just going to say div, and I'm going to do like cluster.type, sure, and wallet.public key. And then see what that does. This works. Okay. So now I want this wallet sent form. Or actually, I want these balances, right? So this is the key thing that I want here. Now, I don't think I can add them in here. So function some components, I like kind of start losing creativity now at this point, because there's just something wrong with this import. Cannot find module or corresponding details. Interesting. Let's quickly run a check types to see if we have some type issue somewhere. As always, is there somebody in the show in watching here? It's like, dude, you don't see it. You're blind. Please let me know. Okay, so Tailwind CSS, Tailwind Vite. Well, yeah, this should be fixable by just doing a npm install. So I must do that. Let me just go ahead and do this. But this shouldn't prevent me from using this file right here. So again, I'm going to check types. And then if this is all good, it's not good. Well, yeah, it's not good because this is the same error. No value exists in scope for the shorthand property wallet. Either declare it or go. Sure, but the issue there is not the import. This is fairly easy to fix. We can just do it like so. Whatever. Import symbols from entity. And right here, doesn't fix the thing. Same stuff. Very annoying, honestly. Okay, let's think about what we can do. So, okay, let's get rid of this file for a second. Let's get rid of this one for a second and return this some components. Now it's working. Okay, so maybe I should do it right here. So let me go back to Alice, open send, portfolio, UI, wallet send. I'm just going to build it right here because I don't really see a different way of doing this right now. And it's typically the stuff that I don't think super interesting to watch. So we're having the send screen, form wallet send. So we should have the tokens here. Balances.map B and then B dot metadata dot name. This should be Solana. Because on DevNet, on the Alice wallet, we only have one token. This is so short that I can actually print out the whole object, balances, and inspect the whole of it. Now, this is not great, but if I move this to the side a little bit, okay, this is still not great. I think I want to add some overflow. So class name overflow ads or overflow auto with full. Balance USD. Now this is the balance of the token. So this is the amount of SOL that I have in this wallet, which sits right at the 4.09 here. So I have this token balance. I have the mint. And yeah, probably should work with this one. So good. Okay. So const balance equals. Yeah, so I guess what I really want to do here is a drop down to figure out which of these tokens are you actually interested in doing. And then this is why I said this send button, if I have the other wallet send on mainnet, I do want it to thing activated. I actually don't want it, but for now, because this is what I'm working with, I will do it. And because it's a watch only, read only wallet, I won't be able to send it anyway, because I don't have the secret key imported. So there's no way how this can happen. So drop down or select, or is it a combo box? Oh boy. I think it's a combo box because we do want to have search here. So let me pick this one up, go to the form send, paste this in right here, remove the imports because this is all different in our app. And I'm going to remove the use client because we're using Vite and not Next. There's no reason for us to use Next. We don't do any server-side rendering in this wallet. It would be kind of weird if we would. And then see if I have all of these imports. So workspace, there we are. This is why it had React, but we like to do the normal input. Combo box. There we go. And then send. This should now have a combo box of frameworks. Beauty. I'm going to do flex, flex, call, and grab 6 here so that these things sit neat and clean below each other. What I want to get out of this, is the mint. So in this form, and this should probably be just a proper form, but for now, I'm going to say use state, and I'm going to have the mint here. So that's going to be the sol 1111111 ends with 2. This is the default mint. So we're going to say set mint and set mint. Now, another thing to note, I am using the wrapped sol mint here. Probably something here that I need to figure out, but I'm going to call this mint adder, and I'm going to make sure this is up, and then mint equals use memo. Balance is find, sure, and update these things for me. And now I can actually show mint.metadata.name and balance. Mint.balance. Beauty. Okay. I'm going to pass the balances in here. Balances in here. And these balances are the things that we're actually going to list through. So we're going to say balances, use balances, which is of type token balance array. And then what do we have here? So we say balances.balance. And the mint is actually the value here. So everything that's framework dot is going to be balance dot. And value is also going to be the mint. And then label here, this is going to be metadata.name or balance.mint. Beautiful. If it's empty, no balance is found. Well, these are actually tokens, right? So framework in this thing is a token. So I'm going to rename this thing tokens. And then here we say tokens, find each token, value, each token value. And the getter and the setter is going to be mint and set mint address. Mint address, set mint address. That's going to be value. So token.value is going to be mint always, and normal value is going to be mint address dot name dot metadata dot name. And this is only when we have the mint address. Select token. And here as well, select token, no tokens found if it's empty. And here we say, hey, set mint value, set mint address if the value is equal to the mint address. And here, if mint address is equal to that. Beautiful. Now this one is no longer needed. That's expected. And then where we use this thing, we should be able to just whack in the mint adder. I didn't update the types. That's why it was not complaining. Mint address, which is a string, and set mint address. And then mint address equals mint address and set mint address. Set mint address. So now we should roughly be in a place where we can actually select things. USD coin, USD coin. Don't you just love it when things like this work? I think it's just amazing. Now, one of the things that I already kind of realize is that we this is clearly not how we want this thing to look. We want these things here. So this might be a bit of a sidetrack, but I think this is actually a token balance item. So we're going to say token balance item. This is an individual one. This is not the array. This is just the whole thing. And then we can take, we can take this one right here and this one, basically return it like so. And these balance items now should be able to use here. So I can say here, just give me the item is item and the key is item.mint. Considering mint is always unique, which is not always the case, but that's definitely an edge case. Remove the braces here. And in fact, we probably don't even need these. Wrapping this. I'm going to export this individual item. Move the function to this. So we have token balance item. I saw it jump around a little bit. I don't think that's a bad thing per se. So token item, and then inside of the form, inside of the, where's the thing? The tag tokens, the wallet form sent. Here, I should now be able to say, instead of mint name, if we have this mint address, we should be able to pass in the mint here. Say mint, and mint is a type of token balance or undefined. And now I should say, hey, if you have a mint, show this thing. Where mint is mint. Otherwise, select token. Let's say what this looks like right here. So mint balance item, item of token balance. Okay, so item, sure. Let's see the sandbox. Select token, Solana. Okay, let's go back where we actually use this and pass in the mint that we just found here. So mint is mint. There you go. Isn't this beautiful? I really, really like this. So I'm gonna actually not put a fixed width on here. I'm just gonna be this, let this be the width that I want to be. I am gonna set the height and let me set it to 100 pixels. px, which is too large, sure. And might actually be a little bit smaller even. There we are. Don't you just love this? I really like this. Now, this one flex grow. So we didn't just fix this one yet. So let's border red 500. And let's say this is flex call, no gap. And this is justify. This is item start. Just so these things move all neatly aside. I really like this. This really starts to look like a wallet. That's not by accident, that's clearly by design, but it's chill regardless. I also realized that this doesn't really make any sense. So let's get rid of this one right here and this one right there. Beautiful. Also, I want a little bit of spacing right here. So what I'm going to say on this end, margin right, let's just add 6 margin. Just so that these things don't squeeze together so much. And then in this form send, this button, actually here I want to do a little bit less padding on the sides, or don't I? Let me see, border red 500. Okay, this is not how that works. I'm gonna forget about it for now. Variant outline. Let's just keep the outline for the secondary. Secondary might be nice, so we have a little bit of a backdrop here. Class name H9. Oh, can I actually set a age? Let's do 20. Today's episode is going to be nicknamed Borders. Because, oh boy, did I write a lot of borders here. H9, it's not H9. Now, anyway, let's not get too obsessed about that. Here, we want to add the balance. Now, this token, I'm going to call it an item right here. That's because we loop over a bunch of items. Amazing. And here's also a width of 200 pixels. I'm going to say width is nothing. It should just do it. Or do I actually want to make it like really wide, 400? And I do want to get rid of this. And then with regards to the checkbox, I actually want to make it so that, let's say background red 500. But I only want this when mint is like so. And I actually want to use the CN utility for this logic. Okay, amazing. Now the selected one is red, which is clearly not what we want, but we'll be getting there. Okay, I really like this. So portfolio token balance. How about I do this with full? And how about again border yellow to 400? This width full actually changed a whole bunch. That's really nice. This is really cool. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to get rid of this checkbox because I don't think we need it. And I'm going to get rid of the other border right here. So I also don't think we need this. How about I just get rid of this one? Yeah, I think for now, I'll just fix the value for both. And I'm going to go back to outline here and just search now for borders. There's no border here. Search for border right here. There is one right here. Amazing. Now in this wallet, this is really my shitcoin wallet, right? So there's a bunch of tokens here that already have no avatar. I think our avatar function is smart enough to actually handle it. Why don't I actually use avatar here? Because this one, avatar, URL, source, what did I put there? Yeah, it should already work, I think. So avatar alt is not a thing, but label definitely is a thing. And now these things actually fill up. This is beautiful. Now, if they don't exist, they just go ahead and do a backup, just how I want it. This thing gets better and better and better by the minute, I swear. So let's see. I got some island tokens here. But why is this not showing? I'm pretty sure island. Yes. Okay, the question is clearly, where do I search through? So in this list, no token, unselect, current value, set mint address. So I have to figure out how this searching actually works, which I don't think I'm going to be able to figure out right now, nor am I really interested in that right now. So I'm going to leave that for tomorrow's session, where I basically do the cleanup. But having this selection here is already great. So Combo Box Demo, this is actually a portfolio UI wallet form token dropdown. This one I'm going to call it. And I'm going to be closing this thing. I'm going to be moving this to its own file. Yes. Now then, second thing that I need here is destination. So I'm going to say text input. It's just an input. Let me go here and figure this out. So I'm not sure if I have this fields.tsx. I don't. So if I go to apps web, add fields, such deep coding, loving every bit of it, says Sandeep. Amazing. I'm super happy that you're following along, sir. It's really good to have you here, watching over my shoulder, enjoying these things. And yeah, really appreciative. In general, we have been getting a lot of feedback, and it's just been wonderful, wonderful to see. So I will be copying over this form field that I got here, and I'll just whack it in right here. And again, change the imports. And this should now eventually highlight just so that I can import it. Has to be a bit patient at times, these things. It asked me label. No, don't overwrite. Don't overwrite this one. Now it actually gave me all of this. Now I'm wondering if select is already there. Yes, select is already there. So import all of this from the workspace. And that should leave us with a beautiful form that I can just pop in right here. And from then, we can just start to figure out what do we need. What do we need? So in this case, it's going to be the token. It's going to be the amount. It's going to be the destination. So we can just start by removing everything that's not that. So this whole credit card thing, I reckon, can just go. Your 16-digit credit card number. Well, yeah, but this is just an input. So how about we say this is amount, which is of type. You'd say type number, but I think this should be type string. I can actually check this right away because I should not be doing this manually. I built this all here in the Create React App Samples UI. So this is the modal send. Here we are. Input destination. It is a number. Well, also not really that surprising actually, but so input amount, let me actually get all of these values right here. Then just see what are the things that we don't need. So there's a bunch of dupes. And I'm apparently very consistent in what I'm doing here. So I'm going to say amount, set amount, use state, and start with 0. And then destination, destination. And I may as well just pick these things up from here. And the same for the destination field. So searching here for destination, input here is destination. The main difference is that these ones are using field, and they're not using input. Okay, they are using inputs, they just wrap around it. So this is destination, and this will be destination, and this should be destination. Let's get rid of the mutations at this moment. Destination and amount. Enter your 16-digit credit card number. I would not do that. The field legend and the field transaction. Actually, what we need to do is that this dropdown just wants to live inside this this form, right? So that's kind of the desired state. So there's a few ways about this. I think I'm just gonna be backing up these ones, moving them here, back up the whole form, and whack it right in here. Then back up the thing that we built, add it inside here. Hey, something that I missed. This thing wants to live here. Okay, beauty. Now we are kind of off to one side. So I'm really gonna go ahead and do this. Doesn't really make it a lot better. Sense. This is ugly. Let's get rid of this. That's here. It says width full max, max width MD. So maybe add this. Okay. Saved by the bell. And then if we're on medium or higher, give a little bit of padding on the X. This is really already fine tuning, but I really can't contain myself. So field set billing group, this can be gone. Comments gone. Cancel, we don't need to. And I guess class name here is flex items end or justify end. There we are. I also realized my screen is pretty dark. So there's still a bunch of overflow here. I'm going to consider all of these things details for now, because there's a bunch of stuff that I don't really understand why this is such. And now I don't really care. So I'm going to be moving back. Right here, it looks pretty good, especially if I do some random arbitrary viewport. Now this width, how about we just make this one width full as well? But that already looks way better. I'm going to go ahead and remove this field description and title, because we have a title in the description already. And now we're actually pretty close to being able to send a bunch of SOL. So what we can do is open the DevTools here. So we have access to the console, and there's a bunch of space on the bottom right here. So let's see which component added this space. It's here, it's there. Okay, there's some PB, padding bottom. Padding bottom. Get rid of this padding bottom. Is it there? No, that should not be the same. This may very well be how this input behaves, right? So I created this bottom sheet and padding bottom 10. Let's only do that on MD or on large. Or just get rid of it. Or just get rid of all of this. Interesting. How about I do the aspect square only on MD? There you go. This already looks way better. Cool. Gonna leave this for now. And then the separator here can go because I don't want it. And then on submit here, think we can do something on submit. Or actually, we can just do it imperatively on the click here. We're going to say send sol. We're going to say destination, amount, and mint. So it's not going to be send sol, it's going to be send token. And then if I say destination, I'm just going to pop in any address here and I say 1. I'm going to get rid of this submit because this button is just a button. And I'm going to say the event and say e.prevent default. Beauty. And then we're going to say send, pick an address, add 1, submit, and we have this handler. Okay. Now, final thing that we need to do is actually pop this out because this is a dump component. And yeah, take this one out and handle this where we want to do this. So send tokens, send, just send. I'm going to add send. The beauty of being a free man, you can just decide things. Here, I want to add all of these things. Now, this definitely is going to be a promise. And for now, it's going to be void. So that's nice. So then I'm going to copy this and just send it all. We can await it here. Not that it really has a benefit, but we may as well. I'm going to add sync modifier. And then mint, it's actually the mint dot address. But let me send the whole token. Why? Well, the send mint token balance. We only want to do this if this is set. So if we don't have a mint, just exit. Also here, if we don't have a mint, disable this thing. Or if we don't have an amount or a destination. If we don't have a mint. Yep. Great. So close this, button is disabled, set a destination, set an amount, and then we can do send. And then we need to handle this. Actually, don't need wallet right here because we have it in the place where we send it. So I'm say portfolio send, and I'm gonna bubble this up again, remove wallet from here. And I'm just gonna take this input. Now, I already mentioned we wanna have I think we should have a provider for this, but there will still be a bunch of prop drilling. And yeah, the beauty of it is it's definitely clear what happens because you can just trace it back. It's just that it's a bit tedious, as you see, to rewrite the same things over and over again. But now we're at my feature component, and this is the place where we can do everything. So send tokens, and I'm just gonna do the whole input here. And this wants to be an async operation because it expects a promise. It doesn't really need to do an async. It's happy to accept it as is. Now, from this thing, going back to my app that I built here, I have a bunch of information right here, but actually there is a project that I built and I didn't make it public because we have a bit of an issue that there's a lot of repositories and we're actually only interested in people seeing Samui Wallet. It's not that I don't want anybody to see it. It's just that it might confuse people and it might set expectations that I really don't want to set. Now, the reason I bring this up is that here I have the logic to send a transaction. Here it's called fund Solana account, but honestly, it's pretty much the same thing. So the way I'm going to handle this right now is I'm going to say const I'm going to say function use send sol. This is going to be a mutation. Oh, I need to use the brackets. Return use mutation. Take mutation function, which takes an input and then does stuff. Now this, you might have already guessed it, amount string, mint, token, balance, and wallet. I want the wallet as well, just so I can construct the whole thing. And let this thing return promise dot resolve. So send sol mutation equals use send sol. And then inside here, we're just going to say, okay, send sol mutation, mutate async, get the input plus the wallet that we have. That should be all good. Once done equals if done, we're going to say toast success. Sol has been sent. And then if it's not done, otherwise, toast error, error sending sol. Close this thing, close this thing. And I'm going to make this thing return true for now. So if this all works and it pans out, should do send, add a destination, add an account, sol has been sent. Beautiful. Only thing left, actually send the damn sol. So use send sol. I'm going to pop this into a new file just so I can focus. And I'm going to go back to my example here and copy all of this stuff over. Just paste it in here. All right, how we like it. Now there's a bunch of stuff that I don't have. It's mainly because I'm not using Gil and a bunch of other stuff, but I reckon I can import a whole bunch of these files from our Solana client. For instance, this one, let's transfer sol or sol to Lamport. Let's start with this one. Address. Well, address shouldn't be coming from there. Address should be coming from Solana clients. Assert is sendable transaction. Solana clients. Signed transaction with messages. So we do have a whole bunch of these files or of these functions. We do have these available, but some of them we don't. So we need to figure out, we're either going to vendor these things in. So we're going to take them from a, we're going to take them from our reference, which is Gil. Either that, or we're going to re-implement it and store it in our own application. So Solana client is something that we have. Signer, this is going to be a key pair. Signer, so key pair signer. From Solana client. It's all coming from Solana client. Send and confirm transaction with signers factory. Get transfer sol transaction. I'm fairly sure that this just should exist in Solana clients. It doesn't. That's so interesting. It has no interactive member. So I downloaded a bunch of these things, but today I figured out there's a directory called out. And the directory out is get ignored by default. But that's cool because I can just clone repositories there and it won't get in the way. And that gives me the ability to quickly search through these things or borrow code from this stuff without having to like open a different tab, open a different browser, all of that stuff. So a lot of things is here. We need this send and confirm transaction with signers factory. So I'm going to go inside Git. Doesn't exist here. I'm going to go inside Gil. It does exist here. Now there's a bunch of type tests, and then we should have the implementation. Okay, I don't like this because these are 4 implementations that basically override. Let's see what this does. So, and there's even an any. Yeah, I'm not going to use this. Send and confirm transaction factory. Now let's take this one. This one comes from Git. So we're basically going to rebuild this on the spot because I can't work with stuff that's typed any. Somebody else is comfortable with it. That's fine with me. That's not for me. Now, why doesn't this like this? It doesn't like this because here in the middle, type property of RPC are incompatible. Now, what I need to do, I need to be talking with the great people from ANSA, people that are building Git. So Stephen Lucier, Loris Leva, and Callum McIntyre. And ask these people, how on earth am I going to do this without referring to any? Because for me, this has been very, very confusing. Like we can do a type assumption, like we can do as any, but this is not great. And now I might as well just use this one. We can just say that it's something, right? But that's also not true. I mean, then I need to add stuff like this. I mean, I can try it as this and then import the whole world, Solana clients, import from Solana clients. So today, somebody in one of these chat groups that we have said, it looks like Git is specifically designed not to be readable by people. And I feel you, brother. I feel you. Like, this is not supposed to be how I should do things, am I? And then still, it's not happy. I mean, okay, I didn't import it all. I guess I didn't import it all. So signature notifications API is here. Slot notifications API. Okay, this one's also there. It's still not happy. Like, how on earth am I supposed to use this when we don't know upfront which cluster we have? It's like it's not a hard-coded thing. RPC and subscriptions, yeah, sure, but how are we going to know which RPC and which like create Solana? This is any RPC cluster URL. Okay, let's take one step back and let's go to the templates, Gil. I'm going to take this one, features account data, get token accounts by owner, use transfer sol mutation. What am I doing here? I do a create transaction, which create transaction comes from here. I should have a create transaction. Let's start with that one. Create transaction. Why is there no create transaction? Is that also coming from Gil? Okay, so the reason this works is that I am using Gil inside of here. Now, the reason it's not that I don't want to use Gil. I mean, we may. But Gil is a very, how do I put this in a way? I don't want to like nag about this. I think Gil is very much still exploratory where it's going. There's a bunch of people working on it from foundation, external, they're hiring people. You have like TypeScript legends like Toby. But a bunch of these people honestly are vibe coders. And I don't particularly trust these people. These people, though, one shot a feature into existence and they're happy with whatever is there. And they're honestly like not the majority, but there has been crap in the pull requests there. Now, luckily, Nick is very selective, right? But Nick is not the only one working with this repo anymore. So I don't feel that comfortable building something important as a wallet based on a library that is Gil, that doesn't have a single maintainer, that has a bunch of people from DevRel that like are fairly easy to accept stuff that's just hundreds of lines of code that no human being ever actually took the time to read. I'm not here for it. So that's kind of my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's why I'm going to be torturing myself to do this with this feature. Now that I've seen this, I'm actually going to leave this as an exercise for tomorrow. Because I want to be talking with Toby, figuring out what is a strategy here, because to get this to market before next week, we may just use Gil. Again, I'm not against it. It's a great library. We use it in the templates. I do think our wallet as like a low-level tool merits low-level dependencies. But if I see all of this stuff, there's a reason Gil exists, so we don't have to deal with this kind of stuff. Because as legendary as these answer types are, this is just super complicated if you don't know exactly how to do it. There's one more thing that I'm going to do, and that's actually referred to the Solana Kit docs. And we're going to look for send and confirm transaction factory. Getting started. So this is an interesting hit. Instruction plan, transactions, functions, errors, installation. So building a transaction, this is basically where we're at, right? So, okay, beautiful. They have a lot of these fancy TypeScript things. It's really great. Now, okay, what it explains here is how a transaction understands that you built on these things. You build these things in sections, you add onto an existing transaction. And this is very type safe, but we need to create a transaction message. Sure. So let's see, const msg, create transaction message. And this must come from here. Okay, sure, version 0. Now what more can we add? So transaction version. And it takes transaction config of that version, which takes a version which extends transaction version, and it gives back an empty transaction. Okay. Now we want to say get transaction. Yeah, okay. So this is the whole pipeable syntax. The transaction message here. So we're going to do pipe. Now pipe comes from Solana client in this case. And here our signer is going to be the one. It's basically a matter of adding this to our adding this to our function, building it all up like this. So we have a block hash, moving it up. We say block hash like this. Now, honestly, for our wallet, this is probably the way we want to go, because I do think we want to be meticulous and exactly know how we build these things. But yeah, add an instruction. Right. So we're going to add an instruction right here. And I must say, these docs are actually great, right? Don't get me wrong. I very much see this as a skill issue. Create account IX and the create mint IX. Now they conveniently left these things out. Compute limit. Sure. Okay, so we can just add this at the bottom. And then import these things from Solana client. Estimate compute unit limit factory. I should say so. And this comes from Solana program compute budget, so we don't have this one. Yes. Okay. So this for now is just too much for me to figure out. I also don't really think it helps a lot. So I think what I'm going to do, Cloud, what are you doing, bro? Also, this is something where Cloud and Vibe Chronicles clearly can't really help a ton. So I'm going to create a branch send sol. And I'm going to say feature work in progress send sol. And tomorrow is Friday. Well, actually, technically, it's already today. I want to get this stuff out so that next week I can actually spend time in getting a presentation out, talking to a bunch of more people on what should be in there, fine tune it, get some documentation on the website, get this into the hands of people. Toby is making great progress in getting the extension up. So we should merge these things together. What we've been doing in the show here is only looking at the web UI, but this will be wrapped in the proper extension. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here that I have to deal with right here. So okay, a bunch of these are easy. A bunch more of these are easy. And these ones don't exist. So there's one more error. There's 4 more errors. Cannot find this one. Well, this is all just copy pasted. Cannot find this one either. Funding account. All good. Off to the races. Yep. Nope. This is not what it is for now. Do another lint fix just so I can commit and push this thing up. And tomorrow, with a fresh coffee and some fresh motivation, I'm going to go ahead and now I don't need all of you. I don't need you anymore. I'm going to be all bitchy about it. I left it here. I should probably have left it here. We have a nice console log. Where's this stuff? Use send sol.ts. Well, use send sol. It's exactly this file. Lint fix it, baby. This should just work. It does not work. Okay, this is a different file. Sure. Okay, Scratchpad. Scratchpad didn't work. Didn't do what I wanted to do. But luckily, that doesn't prevent my TypeScript linter from being obnoxious. Well, brother, this is what you want to do. I'm here for it. One of my earliest mentors in my career, talking about early 2000s, always used to say, never let dead matter be the boss. A computer code is definitely dead matter. It's not alive. I'm not going to let this win. I will eventually prevail, just like now. work in process. That's it. Sandeep, you're a great guy. You're a great friend. What a session. Amazing stream. Guess this episode was the most fun of all, at least for me. I really, really appreciate hearing that. I hope I get this puppet working tomorrow. I will think about what is next for us to build. It's not that there's not a lot of stuff to build. Honestly, quite the opposite. This is very bare bones what we're seeing here. But still, I think we're making great progress. So let me run this in mobile view because that's kind of how it behaves nice. And I've been working on this in mobile view quite a bit. And one of the things I really like is actually go through this app and just click around. So much. So I actually also like watching my own screens. And this is not because I'm like, it's not the that I really like myself seeing. It's really great for me to see myself doing these things, figuring out the train of thought, also figuring out what can I do better in the streams. So I realized first streams I was like all the time apparently with my hand before my mouth. I try to do it less right now. But yeah, what do we need here? Like there's a bunch of stuff and it's interesting to start and figure out like what are we needing? We still need like a warning that says if you want to add a mainnet cluster, it should be there. Like another thing that we need, this cluster thing, it looks ugly on mobile. But actually, we may want to ask ourselves, why do we need a cluster picker? Because if we go to DevNet, the dev section, and I go to Solana right here, if I pick a cluster and I submit it, I can actually detect which cluster it is. So there's this get genesis hash function on the RPC. So I can just take the genesis hash, figure it out, and see what cluster is there. So then why bother people in this cluster settings add screen? Why let them select if I can just drop in an endpoint, have it figure out, oh, this is the DevNet Genesis hash, so I'll pre-select. We probably want to give an option to override this, but yeah, cluster name as well. If I add this and it detects DevNet, it should call this thing DevNet. And if I already have a DevNet in here, it should suggest DevNet 1. At least that's what I think should happen. Which makes it unique. So you can say, oh, this is actually 1, 2, 3. So if you don't care, you kind of remember, okay, this is the second one I added. And it makes it annoying enough that people are very likely to just add it. So then you're just like, okay, DevNet, and now I got my Triton connection, going to do DevNet Triton, or going to like add a Helios connection, DevNet Helios. So again, it's not that there's a lack of things that we can build on. In fact, the whole world needs to be built still. But yeah, I just need to figure out what am I going to build next. And the other one is mobile responsiveness. So on the small screen, it looks great. I mean, pretty great compared to on the wide screen. Now, this one is still kind of okay. But if I go to portfolio, for instance, this clearly does not look okay. Now we can quickly do a little test. Solflare portfolio. Remember this one? Yes, we remember from the first show. Yoo-hoo! I already have a wallet. What is it? Pastor. Let's take Bill tomorrow. Good old Bill tomorrow. Just use a simple password because it's an incognito window here. Sure. Text this account. Agree, let's go. Now, this is what a proper mobile view looks like, right? And what we can see here, it has the sidebar. This middle section lives in a container. Now, I think I'm on a fairly standard, it's a large screen, but it's a fairly standard resolution or ratio. And this is kind of what we should take inspiration from this wallet specifically, because Solflare, as far as I know, is the only one between Backflare, Soulflare, and Phantom, Backpack, Soulflare, and Phantom that has this full screen view. So this is a thing that we should look at. Now, a few things that we can already get rid of, like we're not going to have these banners just yet. We're not going to have stake. We're not going to have buy just yet. That said, we do have a intent from MoonPay where we can actually offer something like this. So we should be able to offer something, but hey, that's just one button, right? And we'll trigger probably a bottom sheet or a modal window with a nice little cute currently selector. So that's not too much UI, that's just one button. We're not going to have these fancy backgrounds just yet. That's all fancy stuff. So settings. This is essentially what I've been building. I didn't check this for a while, but yeah, the settings screen is just that, a settings screen. We're not going to have support. We will send you to Discord or to GitHub discussions. We should have auto lock. But yeah, from a UI point of view, there's definitely a whole bunch of things that we can improve. Now, luckily, I have a friend, Steven Sarmiento. He was on the show a few days ago as a guest, and let me quickly block somebody right there. I blocked him. Okay, cool. Steve was checking in the show. He just said hi. I don't know if he checked, but he's a great UX designer, UX UI. I'm going to ask him the favor to look at it, clean it up just before the submission, so we can take a bunch of screenshots, record the loom, and then run with it. But from these features, sure, portfolio tokens, okay, which is kind of like the same, if you ask me. It's just that portfolio has this swap and history and balance, like not things that I'm super interested in just yet. Stocks, nope. Staking, nope. Earn, nope. Collectibles. Well, yeah, once we dive into that rabbit hole, explore. No way. We're not going to like offering meme coins and all of that stuff. We expect builders using Samui Wallet to understand the ecosystem, understand how to navigate. If you're the type of person that want to go to pump fun, you're probably going to use Soulflare, Phantom, or Backpack, and not Samui Wallet. This is for the builders, and we expect the builders to have their favorite apps in the Solana ecosystem. So trade, yes, we will have a swap. Will it be there? Nope, not the first day. Bridge, I don't see why you would bridge to another chain. And activity, yes. So if we look at this thing, it's basically going to be tokens, activity, collectibles. Why are you being obnoxious here? Activity, tokens, collectibles. So we'll have 4 tabs. Now, if you have like only 4 tabs, does it mirror the sidebar? I don't think it does. Anyway, I'm rambling right now. The whole world needs to be rebuilt. Yes, yes, Sandeep, it's chaos theory. Everything will get more chaotic over time. And I mean, maybe with pull requests that I just showed today, I'm kind of contributing to this, but that's okay for me. I'm going to leave it here. It's been 4 a.m. and you, sir, also should go to sleep. It's too late. And thank you, everybody, for watching. See you back tomorrow. I hope a bit earlier. I love you all, and bye-bye.